Welcome back to Mainly Italian Motors. Don't forget to click and subscribe. Here we have our next restoration. A Barago 1/18 scale Alfa Romeo 2300 Monza. Another eBay purchase. It's rather dirty and the two small screens are missing and one wheel is damaged. I think it's on the other side at the moment. Also we would be restoring this to more of a original specification of the actual racing car, which didn't have chrome wheels and such like. Here's the damaged wheel, is the one at the front here, which will have to be repaired or replaced. I could change it with a spare one, but we'll have to wait and see. The car was a development of the P3 Alfa Romeo single-seater built around Alfa's legendary straight-eight twin supercharged engine. It was after the car's victory in the 1931 Italian Grand Prix that it became known as the Monza. For the 1932 season, they were built as twin-seaters, although anybody sitting in the passenger seat would be rather close to the driver. And there was no actual requirement for them to carry a passenger, but those were the rules. Only 10 Monzas were built, and only 188 chassis for the 8C 2300 engine, which you sometimes see the Spider version of this, which has actually got doors and such like, which was the road-going car. Now I'm going to stop the turntable a moment and remove the model from it. Now the plastic on these models, as they date back to the 1980s, is rather brittle. So to get the wheels off, you have to take the spinner out, which locates the wheel, but you've got to be rather careful and tease it out rather than get carried away, because you'll break things, which applies to all the plastic parts. 2 screws holds the body together. Here is the Alfa Monza stripped right down to the body shell. I intend painting it in the dark Alfa red they used to race in. I've decided to convert this to the car Ferrari raced in the 1932 Monaco Grand Prix. And then he raced, the model he raced only had one screen on the driver's side, so we'll do away with the one on the passenger side. Also, the mud guards on the model, they didn't have mud guards, so I'm going to cut these off, I think. And I'm wondering how the paint will take on this plastic. But I tried some paint, acrylic paint there on this piece of plastic, and it seems to have taken alright. That's not the colour the car will be, but I just tried that on one. The wheels will be done in black. Wheels will be done in black. On the actual chassis, I had to keep the front ones on because the difficult to get off, and I didn't want to break them, so I've left the front ones on the car. Might be a little bit tricky to paint them, but I think it'll be okay. Now the car, back to the body again, actually ran with the number 28, which was placed on the bonnet and on the rear, and also on the radiator grille, which will be done in black as well. Also, I'm going to try and find a figure to go in the seats, but 1/18 figures aren't easy to find. I've got this chap here, but I don't think he's going to really be big enough to be the right scale to go in the car. He won't be able to look out over the dash, I don't think. So, that's it. On to the painting. Here we have the chassis largely back together. I'm pleased with how the wheels have turned out. However, the fronts have tightened up with painting. I'll just show you there a bit compared to the backs. So I'll need some oil on them later on. The steering is good. On to the body now. It's in primer. Although I still have a little sanding to do in this area where I've filled in the hole for the passenger windscreen, which isn't on the racing version. I've got the paint close to the Alpha Red. It's Fiat Passadogli, Passion Red. Here is the chassis with the body panels reattached from rear and front. They just clip on. The body is now in colour and came up quite well. It clips back onto the chassis and is retained by 2 screws, one at the front and one at the back. Once the retaining screws are fitted, the exhaust can be reattached to the engine. It goes in there. Then we are waiting for decals. I have some Ferrari ones. And I can use the Ferrari prancing horse for this model, which will fit here, but one on each side. That's always an interesting talking point when people ask why has an Alfa got the Ferrari emblem on it. As we know, Enzo Ferrari ran the Alfa racing team in the 1930s before he started building his own cars. So Scuderia Ferrari translates to Racing Team Ferrari or Racing Stable Ferrari. I have sourced some white figures for the 28 racing number, which will go on the rear and the bonnet and on the grille at the front, but waiting for them to arrive, and still have to make a windscreen there. Here is the Alfa Monza with all the decals in the racing trim for the 1932-33 season. during which it won several races driven by Tazio Nuvolari, the Flying Mantuan. Many regard him as the greatest driver of all time. The car ran in the Grand Prix racing trim, but also took part in the Mille Miglia, Targa Florio and Le Mans 24-hour race, winning all these races in the sports car trim with lights and mudguards. I decided against trying to replace the ring over the radiator cap which held a St. Christopher's medal, as not all cars have this. I'm still trying to find a suitable figure for the car. I thought to finish you might like to see my 118 Barago 1932 Alpha Spider, so I'll stop the table a moment and swap the models over. Here it is with the Mille Miglia numbers. A much different car with a full width screen, different rear end to accommodate spare wheels, the low doors, and the exhaust running underneath the car as opposed to coming along the side. In the Great Italian Road Race, cars set off at 2-minute intervals for the Brescia to Rome and back course. The figure 90 would be in the midfield. 88 cars started the race in 1932 and 42 finished. Number 106, another Alfa Romeo 8C 2300 Spider 1. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please click and subscribe.